Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to call the April 21st meeting of the Common Council to order. I will ask the clerk to call the roll to determine a quorum.
Alderperson Chaplesky.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Lysick.
Here.
May.
Here.
Probst.
Here.
Reinke.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Vitale.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Barzak.
Here.
10 present, none excused.
We have a quorum. Our pledge tonight will be led by Alderman Chaplesky.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have one item for public hearing this evening. I will ask the clerk to read public hearing item number 1.
A hearing on the improvement of West Florence Lane from South Waukesha Road to Root River Parkway, South Seymour Place from West Florence Lane to north of West Florence Lane, and portions of intersecting streets by concrete pavement repair, miscellaneous sidewalk repair, miscellaneous driveway repair, and utility adjustments.
Thank you. Mr. Daniels.
Thank you, Mayor Devine. Okay, this is the public hearing for Florence Lane and Seymour Place. Here's the procedures for tonight. I'll go through the project scope and cost. Then we'll discuss assessment rates and methods of payment. And then we'll have time for comments and questions from the Common Council or from citizens affected. Then the public hearing will be closed and the project will be referred to the Public Works Committee for discussion and a vote. And then it will come back here to the full council later tonight for a vote. Here is a map of Florence Lane from Root River to Waukesha, and then in between the two is Seymour Place from the north of Florence to Florence. So they're all kind of in there together. Here are some pictures from Florence Lane. The pavement is severely cracked, potholed. The curb and gutter in this pavement was installed in 1965, so it is 50 years old. And then these are some pictures from Seymour Place. Routine maintenance is becoming difficult with all these potholes that need to be filled. This also was done in 1965, so it's 50 years old. The project will include the removal of the deteriorated curb and gutter and pavement, just the parts that are bad, the parts in the picture. There are parts that I didn't show there that are actually in better shape that we would like to save. So we would install new sections of concrete curb and gutter and pavement where needed. The street would remain open. Instead of waiting for all the pavement to go bad so that it deteriorates so badly that it would need extensive, costly work, this project is just doing patching of the bad spots that will increase its life for 10 years or more. So if we looked at the alternatives, one alternative would be to resurface it, which would be $245,000, and the residents would have to pay $35 a foot. If we wait longer, eventually the option would be to completely reconstruct it, which would cost $466,000. But we're going to choose this option, the third option, which is just to patch the bad spots for $131,000 at a $10.54 assessment rate. This is what the final product would look like then. We would take out the bad places and put in new concrete, and you would hardly notice the good from the bad eventually as the colors match, but you're just taking out the bad, leaving the good. As a result, you're saving a lot of money. Here's the cost of the project, $131,000 for the pavement. Just a little bit of minor street lighting work that would need to be tweaked for $8,000. A little bit of sanitary sewer work, working on some manholes, $6,000. Storm sewer is the same, just rebuilding a couple of manholes for $13,000. So the total cost of the project, $158,000. And the city would collect $21,000 and $21,900 in special assessments, which would be 17% of the paving cost here at the top for the two streets. There would be several sustainability benefits in this project. The gravel used would be 100% recycled crushed concrete from old pavements. We would use recycled fly ash, which is this substance from coal electric plants, in the concrete to reduce mining for new cement. And if there was any asphalt needed, that would be made from 20 to 35% old recycled asphalt pavements as well. Here's a sample special assessment for a 90-foot wide lot. Assessment rate $10.54 a foot. Homeowner's cost is $948.60. The bills will not be mailed out till about March of next year, 2016. At that time, you would have 3 payment options. You could pay in a lump sum all at once. You could have a 5-year installment plan, or you could have a 10-year installment plan. If you chose the 10-year plan, assuming 4% interest, your special assessments would range from $133 in 2016, the first year, down to $99 in the 10th year, which is 2025. Here's a little history on special assessments in the city. We've been doing it for over 100 years. Residents have historically paid the full cost of their new street in order to enjoy the benefit, the unique benefit that this improvement gives their individual property. On this project, the city will collect $21,000 in assessments, or 17% of the cost. The assessment rate is $10.54 per foot for all residential properties in the city, no matter where you're located, or how wide your street is, or how high the traffic volumes are, or how high the actual bid prices are. Everyone is treated equally, and everyone pays the $10.54 per foot. Special assessments are the only way to ensure that tax-exempt schools, churches, charities, hospitals, county parks, utilities, and railroads all pay their fair share too. No one is exempt from special assessments, even though there are 430 properties in the city that do not pay any property taxes. Many of these tax-exempt properties are very large schools, churches, hospitals, and county parks, and they only contribute to the city's costs through special assessments. Likewise, businesses, corporations, and manufacturers would pay a higher assessment rate to ensure they contribute their fair share, and their assessment rate is between $13 and $15 per foot. Here's a map of everyone, at least on the southwest corner of the city, who has paid a special assessment in the last 10 years or so, and you can see that just about everyone is paying their fair share. Most have already paid for their street and or alley in front of their property over the last 10 years. Most of the work has been on the east end of the city where things are older, but we are moving into the west where streets like Florence and Seymour are now 50 years old as well. So everyone is paying their fair share. There are 4 corner properties I wanted to point out where the people are being assessed on both sides of the street. I just wanted to say that that's not really an unusual occurrence. There are 10,000 parcels out of the 19,000 in the city that do pay for more than one side of their property, so that's 55% of the parcels. 3,400 of those parcels out of the 19,000 do pay for more than one street, so that's 17%. And the other 7,490 parcels out of the 19,000 pay for their street and at least one alley, or one street and one alley, or one street and 2 alleys. But so that's another 38,000 people paying for the alley, and 38% paying for their street and their alley. So here's what it would be for a long side where you're paying on the corner. Say you have a long side lot of 175 feet. Assessment rate's the same, $10.54. So that comes to $18.44, but then we take 60% off. So that's a subtraction of $1,100, bringing it back down to $737 for the long side of your property. I just want to talk about the interest rate that we do charge on the installment plans. The city does borrow the funds for this project, so the city does have to pay interest to those municipal bondholders over the next 10 years. So the city is merely passing along these interest charges to any residents that choose the 5 or 10-year payment plan. The city does not make a profit off the interest charged. Oops, what is that? And that is it. If there are any comments or questions, they will be heard.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniels. Are there any questions or comments from the Common Council on our public hearing? Seeing none, are there any comments or questions from our members of the audience? Seeing none, we will close our public hearing. And we will now move on to item E on your agendas, citizen participation. This is the opportunity for residents to address the council on any matters of interest to them. Is there anybody who wishes to address the council under citizen participation this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will close citizen participation. We will move on to item F on your agendas. Our committees will be meeting during recess. The room numbers are listed on the agenda on page 1. We will move on to item G, the mayor's report. Just a few quick things this evening. I want to, last week the Chamber of Commerce held their annual awards dinner, and I want to congratulate the winners. Our Citizen of the Year was Pat Hadalak, who is involved in several organizations in the community, most prominently probably is the West Allis Women's Club. I want to congratulate her. I want to congratulate Ed Lisinski for winning the Young Professional of the Year award, and I want to congratulate Heiser Chevrolet for being the Business of the Year. Continuing the string of thanks, I want to thank Joe Kempen, who finished his second full term as a member of the Police and Fire Commission. He was on that commission for 13 years and navigated through several changes, a lot of turnover, hiring chiefs, quite a few changes in the department he was involved in and guiding them. Actually, the night of his retirement gathering, Chief Bain mentioned that 40% of the firefighters protecting the city during that ceremony had been hired under his watch. So he's definitely left his mark on this community. I want to thank everybody who turned out for the citywide cleanup on Saturday. We had well over 100 people, and as we drove from site to site, we saw people everywhere with pickers and bags, and Alderman Weigel had his truck full by the end of the day. So 2 loads to the dump. Yeah. So we definitely left our city cleaner. And speaking of clean, I just want to announce that with tomorrow being Earth Day, we finalized a new website called keepwestdallasgreen.com, not to be confused with keepwestdallasclean.com. But this site has information about pollution prevention tips, recycling and flooding reduction tips, tips on the benefits of buying local, tips on alternative transportation, and it also highlights some of the projects and some of the undertakings that the city has done in recent years to reduce its environmental footprint. So that concludes the mayor's report this evening. Do we have any reports from the alderpersons?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Weigel.
I just wanted to thank Big Deal Burgers and Custard on 84th and Greenfield. They hosted a fundraiser last evening where 10% of their sales for a portion of the evening last night went to support our skate park on 84th and National, which has been very, very popular and has already need a few tune-up additions to it. It was another case of a local business supporting, going above and beyond and supporting the city here. And also I wanted to mention an item on tonight's agenda, forward-looking in the downtown. Double B's Barbecue is investing in their property. They're looking at putting kind of a semi-enclosure over their outdoor patio that will give them kind of 3-season service out there. Again, I see this as another positive where we see businesses reinvesting in the downtown, seeing the value of being in the downtown. And that's due partly to our business improvement district, which although some people might not understand, I think we're still looking at, we currently have just a 4% vacancy rate in the downtown, which in this economy is outstanding. So thank you to the bid.
Thank you, Marty Weigel. Are there any other comments from the alderman?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Probst.
I want to give a quick shout out to an unnamed mom out there in West Allis who, with her children, went to the skate park after there had been some vandalism. She and her kids went and got some wire brushes and some cleaning solution and showed up at the skate park early on a Sunday morning. Her children were not responsible for the damage, but I think that the lesson that mom was teaching to the kids about taking care of something that they care about, and that when you do take care of something like that, it tends to be around a lot longer. I think that was an awesome lesson, and it was posted all over Facebook on the skate park site. So again, it was a great example and a great lesson. So thank you to that mom out there for being a great citizen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any other alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman May.
I just wanted to quickly thank Rotary Club of West Dallas for having me come in and present 2 Thursdays ago. The topic of my presentation was building a stronger community, and I focused a lot on how the aesthetics of our built environment matter, how the amenities we provide our citizens matter, and how bringing people together matter to make a stronger West Dallas. And I greatly appreciated the opportunity, and I hope I might be able to give that presentation again to other groups. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other reports from the alderpersons this evening?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move for approval of the minutes of the Common Council regular meeting of April 7th, 2015.
Second.
We have a motion with a second by Alderman Reinke. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item J on your agenda, I'll ask for a motion to refer place item 3 on file and refer item 4 to the city attorney.
So moved?
Second?
Motion by Alderman Probst, second by Alderman May. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Standing committee reports this evening, we have none.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Vitale. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are in recess.